When you think you're the best, but you don't challenge yourself, you're going to find out you become pretty weak and susceptible to challenges. See, I know this guy. His kid was a really good track athlete in middle school. At least he thought he was. He was winning all these middle school competitions. And he was betting on his kid to be able to be this superstar in track once he got into high school. Truth of the matter is that the competition he was going against in middle school was very pared back. It wasn't even the best competition in our city, let alone in our state. So when this kid finally got to high school and started competing, he fell down to the middle of the pack. He's a good athlete, competitive kid, but he wasn't near the top of the cream of the crop in our state, let alone our city. There's many people in the state that he never competed against, but he put himself in a bubble and competed inside this bubble and became the best of it and thought he was exceptional. Sounds an awful lot like Christendom and evangelicalism, where they think they're exceptional because they have this truth behind them and they don't step out of the bubble and test it out in the waters of the real world to see how it holds. And they have this exceptional morality. But when that morality steps outside their bubble, it falters. It just falters to the ground. And there's nothing left to it because it doesn't get proven outside of their little bubble. When they actually test it against real world examples, it doesn't happen very well. And I see the exceptionalism in America, where you have some people in this country that think America, number one, greatest in the world. And it's simply not the case. There's a lot of people in this world that don't vie or want to come to America because they don't want to take a step back in their progress. Just look at this whole farce that's going on in Greenland, where the Greenlanders are like, no, we don't want anything to do with you. Why would we want to give up everything we have that's good and great for our country to put ourselves underneath yours and lose a lot of the privileges and rights that we have? Same with a lot of the Canadians that I talk to. They don't want anything to do with America taking them over because they don't want to take a step back. They've earned certain rights and privileges in their country to give them free health care and all sorts of good things. Why would they want to give that up to have all these extra expenses put in? But I think this exceptionalism is played out even more in an economic sense, and we're seeing it now. This whole bravado of we're going to put these tariffs out and everyone's going to bend and bow to us and concede. They don't want this mighty giant bully of the world coming out. But like the movie Rocky and all the other bully movies we saw in the 90s and 2000s, when the bully's finally challenged by someone that's able to fight, they get punched, they get embarrassed. And I think you're starting to see that a little bit here, and it's going to come out and be proven here very shortly, because some of these countries are starting to pair up against each other. They're not necessarily bending and kowtowing to the American want and desire of everything. They're standing up and bristling, especially countries like China that are setting up coalitions with Japan and Korea and putting this together so that they don't have to worry about importing or exporting to America. They have their own things. They have all our patents. They're going to start producing whatever they want and selling it around the world and making all the money themselves and taking away our IP that we created in this country. We are going to cripple some of our stuff. And people may say, well, that's very un-American. That's very unpatriotic of you to think. But the truth of the matter is that it's not. It's going to open a lot of eyes of people here and realize that we're not the best and we're in a fight. There's a lot of equal planes out here, and we have to be able to compete and go against them. We've been beating our chest and believing that we were unbeatable and unmatched in anything we do. Now we're starting to see that there's others out there that have been practicing and training a long time and ready to take us on. We're not just going to bow. They're not just going to bow down to us and give in to every our want and desire. They're going to unite against us and fight against us, and it's going to hurt for a little bit, but we'll get stronger in the end for it because we'll realize we have to have resiliency to fight, and we'll start working out again and start strengthening ourselves and building ourselves up again. But to sit here and keep thinking that you're exceptional, we need to get rid of that, and maybe this is the tipping point to get rid of that, to start realizing we're a part of a global economy. We're not the best by any means. We could be on the top, but we got to prove it every day. And we got to be strong. And we got to support our workforce and our laborers, because that's the backbone of everything we do. And when we start respecting the lower levels and forcing that to happen, we can make superior stuff and sell it around the world. Come up with great ideas. But right now, We're just fat and lazy on the top thinking that everyone's going to bow. And that's not the case. And some people are going to get a harsh lesson come these next few weeks.